Aloha, everybody, and welcome to another Treetop Talk here at the sweet spot on the big island of Hawaii. The duck is fed, the cat's been fed, and now it's time to feed your head. I'm celebrating a milestone, a benchmark that I've reached on my YouTube channel, and that is I have 100 subscribers now. Which means I'm 10% of the way towards reaching monetization. These days, 100 is worthless, unless you have another zero after it. Now, 1,000 is something, but today, $100? Well, that could buy you 10 loaves of bread and a stick of butter. It could buy you 20 pumpkin lattes from Starbucks. It could buy you a tank of gas if you hold 20 gallons. 100 isn't that many, but when you start from one, it's a road that has 99 in front of it. So I had to really think hard on what to do with this centennial video. What would inspire my viewers to watch it all the way through? Gratuitous violence, sexy sex, how-to, conspiracies, get rich quick, get rich at a normal rate of speed, exposés of the famous. So I settled on something ubiquitous, innocuous, and something that everybody could relate to. Light. We use it, we love it, and we can't seem to live without it. But rather than be heavy, let's be light about this topic as I light upon a specific incident and song which I think needs to be updated. Let me take you back to 1990, when I was touring my theatrical production, Luma, Theater of Light, which is an interesting misnomer, as the show was done entirely in the dark. There was another show in the world at the time that also worked in the dark called Black Theater of Prague, which had been around since the 40s after the invention of the black light. Now here's some images of their look, and here's some images that show the look of Luma. I too used black light, but expanded the form to include lights from LEDs, sparks, electroluminescence, chemical luminescence, incandescence, phosphorescence, fire, fluorescence, because I didn't want to just do a light show, but a show about light and its impact on the night. And so I did. From 1989 to 2018, my show about light went all over the world to 5 continents, 15 countries, 42 states, and played in over 300 performing arts centers from 500 to 10,000 seats. But one particular show stands out as I make a wide circle back to how I started down this turtle hole, which is the one that makes a long story longer. We were going to play in Mobile, Alabama, which is part of the Bible Belt. So I studied up because my agent was very anxious about it. The name Bible Belt is derived from the heavy emphasis on the literal interpretation of the Bible in evangelical denominations. Now, the term Bible Belt was coined by the American journalist and social commentator H.L. Mencken in the 1920s. He also said, "The urge to save humanity is almost always a false front for the urge to rule." And to follow that, Karl Marx, almost 170 years ago, said, "Religion is the opium of the masses," which makes sense back then, but today it would be closer to say, religious fanatics are the same whether they're Islamic or Christian. If you aren't one of them, you are in the league with Satan, which is not as bad as being in the league with the NBA, NFL, NHL, or Warcraft players. Those who do their work in darkness and think, who sees us? Who knows? Isaiah 29:15. The night is nearly over and the day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on armor of light. Romans 13:12. Oh, disclaimer, I'm using New Times Roman as the font here. Because Luma was performed in the dark, the agent was fearful what people in Alabama would think. It wasn't just in Alabama, because sometimes later in the history of our touring, we played somewhere in the Midwest and my lighting technician's grandmother showed up afterwards and said, "It's the work of the devil." which goes to prove that you don't have to wait until you're dead to go to hell in a handbasket, optional Samsonite luggage, or be in a sinking boat screaming, "Come hell or high water!" But when the water is this high, it's already hell. Or, "My road to hell is paved with good intentions." All you need to do is perform in the dark and people will think you're evil. The show was playing at the Sanger Theater, and afterwards I asked the executive director whether or not she considered it dark, as in the sense of evil, or the work of unholy forces. Her reply was, "Oh my, no dear," in a southern lilt that was as sweet as the way they drink their iced tea. "It reminded me of that song, 'This Little Light of Mine.'" And that, viewers, floored me. "This Little Light of Mine" is a popular gospel song. I mean, a song from black people, or what they used to be called derogatively as darkies, so it's highly ironic. Here, this song of unknown origin is said to be inspired by Luke 11:13 in the King James Version of the Bible, which reads, "No man, when he hath lighted a candle, putteth it in a secret place, neither under a bushel, but on a candlestick, that they which come in may see the light." Well, the reason you don't put it under a bushel is it will set the bushel on fire. And then that's another story of Moses and the burning bushel. Here are the lyrics and melody, and you would have had to have lived your whole life in a secret place not to know this song. "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine." Now, many other verses have been added over the years, including impromptu lines appropriate to the occasion. The song is sung around the world with the simple lyrics and a tune resonating with all ages. Odetta and the Boys Choir of Harlem performed the song on The Late Show with David Letterman on September 17th, 2001, on the first show that Letterman resumed broadcasting after having been off the air for several nights following the events of 9/11. Reverend Seiko and other counter-protesters sang "This Little Light of Mine" defiantly before a crowd of white supremacists and alt-right supporters gathered for the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2018. And Meghan Markle and Prince Harry chose to end their wedding on May 2018 with a version of this iconic song. "This big lass of ours." "This big honking light of mine, I'm gonna let it glare. Yo, this giant light of mine, I'm gonna show I care. This humongous light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now, this light's of yours, you're gonna let it pour. This spotlight from you, it's time to let it spew. This big ass light of ours, it's time to let it scour. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine." Thanks for tuning in.